Tired?
TAM KBDT proudly presents Life Solutions, coaching, counseling, naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Beal.
We are here today talking about Christians and CBD for people and pets. We are going to help you remove the stigma. If you have this feeling of taboo about CBD, we want to let you know some wonderful things about it and all the new research that's been done to help you get better. Because that's what we're here about, getting better. And I am joined today by Dr. Jim Slaughter.
Hello, everyone. Good to be back.
And why do I have him? Well, he is a retired seminary professor. He knows the Bible well. And he's a wonderful life coach and counselor and relationship coach and has a show called Men Loving Well on graceandtruthradio.world. And thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. I'm enjoying the research that we've been doing into this topic. And CBD products still have a lot of fog surrounding them at this point. And we're hoping to make the fog, we're hoping to lessen the fog, not make it worse, right?
Yes, but did you ever think that you would be here having being a guest on a show today as an expert about how Christians can, with good conscience, use CBD?
Well, it's the kind of thing that hadn't come up because CBD itself has not particularly been an issue. In the Christian community, marijuana has been sort of a
I could say
problem
cannabis,
for a long,
yes.
long time, you know. But you know, recent research, and in fact, only over the last year or two, CBD in the hemp form of CBD has been approved by the government and by certifying boards and that kind of thing. And so it really deserves a look at this time. And you know, there was a Christianity Today article just came out not too long. In fact, I think it was, I'm not sure when it was, but it was recent, very, very recent. And the title of it was something like Christians turning over a new leaf, or Christians are turning over a new leaf with CBD oil. And of course, it's a play on the marijuana leaf, right? But
you're right. It just came out July 26th.
That's what I was thinking. It's just,
oh my gosh. That's wonderful. Well, and I think we want people to know, because Christians out there really to realize CBD is everywhere, and I do mean everywhere, like Bed Bath & Beyond, Walgreens, Kroger, Vogue, you name it. Somebody's selling it,
well, let me just
talking
say,
about it or using it.
Before we get too much further, there is CBD oil and there's not so good CBD oil. You have to really be a discretionary
right,
shopper,
about where you buy it. And
yeah.
Dr. John King, who was he's been here for a few weeks, he says don't buy your CBD oil or sushi at a gas station. And so, because there's so many things that aren't, you know, it's not that it's bad CBD oil, it's that you don't know what it's been mixed with, or if it's really CBD oil, or even if it's highly absorbable. I mean, if it's only 1% or 3% or 4% absorbable, it's not going to work very well. So one of the things that, for me, when I first heard of CBD, I dismissed it pretty quickly because I thought of cannabis, and, you know, I'm not going to, you know, I grew up in the 70s, and so 60s and 70s, mostly the 70s, where, you know, there was marijuana around, and I didn't do that, right? Like, I was this good kid, and so a lot of people around me did. And so I just had this stigma about it, like a taboo about it, and I know that a lot of other Christians do, you know, but what we have realized is over the last, like, couple of years, you think, Jim, we have heard more and more stories about people getting well, people's seizures going away, you know,
anxiety,
ALS,
depression,
depression,
issues,
pain, brain issues, Alzheimer's getting better. We just heard so many things that we finally went to training. Ty Bollinger, the website, thetruthaboutcancer.com and truthaboutcancer.org. He had all these doctors come in to Florida for the Sacred Plant Conference to learn all about CBD, hemp, and marijuana, and how it can be used to heal lots of different things. So we want to pass that information on to you.
And it's a matter of being discretionate, and choosing the right thing. And we'll talk more about this as we go along through the program. But it's very important to distinguish between marijuana and hemp. They're two totally different plants.
Well, so the stigma is that they're both from the same family. So if you think of, and this is what Dr. John King shares with us, that when you think of citrus plants, so you think of oranges and lemons, anything citrus, grapefruits. So they're all citrus plants, all citrus. And so when you think of cannabis, there's the cannabis plant, but there's all these different kinds of cannabis plant. One is hemp, one is marijuana, and there are other ones as well. And so you're looking, you're looking at it. Okay. So for me, when I started hearing all these things, we wanted to learn.
Yes,
and that's where we were like, is it really helping? Does it really do this? And then we saw it really did do that, and we didn't know why. Now, one of the things for us that we've really come to see is that CBD without THC, which I'll let you share more about that with them, but definitely that for our clients has helped more than anything. And we have health and wellness clinics. So for us, we're looking at, helping people with anxiety and pain and who can't sleep, insomnia, and what else? PTSD symptoms, all those kinds of things. And so for us, we were looking for things for that. And for that, the CBD without THC is what works better for that. So we're going to share that with you. And then, so when we learned that, I began to ask a lot of questions and really re-examine my beliefs. Do you think you did that too?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, it wasn't that my beliefs were off. It's that my knowledge of the industry was off. I had no idea at first that there was a difference between marijuana and hemp. I'd used hemp ropes as a scout, tying things up, right?
I didn't know it was from the cannabis plant.
Yeah, but that's the only hemp I knew about. And so it's been an educational process for us, like everything is really. And yet we are sort of forced into this. I mean, we're in the health and wellness business, you and I, know, mental health, physical health, everything, emotional health. And so it was very, very important for us to look into this and to make some decisions about it, to know what to do for our own bodies and our families, but also for those who come to us for help in one way or another. And so it's a part of what we do. And so in order to maintain a high degree of integrity about our business, we felt like it was really necessary to look into cannabis.
And one of the things that we came to realize is, especially me, I realized I had developed a trust, a faith, really, over time of Western medicine, doctors and pills and checkups and everything that we think of as part of the American life, believing that I was doing the best for my family and that would keep them healthy. But in our case, what we saw is our family was getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and the prescriptions were not making us better. They were making us sicker. And so that is when we started looking when our kids were smaller, because one of them got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which she does not have today. So we started looking elsewhere. And so over the years, we just learned more and more. And so for me, especially when it comes to realizing, okay, this kind of mindset that I had that doctors were the way, that meant medical doctors, MDs, and prescription drugs, which are synthetics. And I realized over time, by studying all this and looking into what God made for us, God gave us plants for eating, to feed our bodies, and to heal our bodies. He didn't give us synthetics. Synthetics really aren't supposed to really be in our bodies. And so when you do put synthetics in there, manufactured drugs, they have all these side effects. So often the cure can be worse. The cure can cause more problems and make you sicker with the synthetics. And so you want to look at all the options out there. And this is one of the really good ones. The more they discover, it is amazing the things it can do for your body. And so, I had no idea what went into those prescriptions. People go, well, I don't know, I got to research CBD. And I'm like, good for you. Did you research your prescriptions? No. They get a pill from a doctor that they barely know, and they get a prescription. They take it to a pharmacist they don't know, and they get the drug. They have no idea what's in it, and they take it. But when it comes to anything natural, they're like, I don't know, I got to check it out, which really you should check out even the prescription. So yeah, I think for me, I today question, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm discovering. And so my question for you is, how about you? Are you open to that? As Christians, we want to let you know, and that's why I have Dr. Slaughter here. Tell me what you would like to share with us today.
Well, there are a lot of things, really. And in some ways, we, without even knowing it, you and I have become familiar with natural healing processes over the last few years. And some of that has to do, it comes through even American Indian, some people say Native American, family members of mine.
Right.
And
so you have your side you have a side of the family that's
Muskogee Creek, right?
Creek Indian.
Uh-huh.
And my great-grandmother, she's passed away now, but she's Cherokee. She was Cherokee. And so we do have this side of our family. And Jim's side of the family, they actually were shamans.
Yeah, and so there's a person who actually passed away before I was old enough to really interact with him, get to know him. My dad knew him really well. His name's Marcellus Williams. His Indian name is Bear Heart. Bear Heart was called to be a shaman, which is basically an Indian doctor. The thing about the shamans is, though, that they everything is natural with them,
plants,
and so
yes.
they use herbs and plants of all kinds. Some of them they didn't even have names for. And there's another book, another person that we got to know. We know her family
we
at
know
least.
now.
She was the last female Comanche shaman. Again, she
was the last shaman. She just happens to be female. For,
okay.
For the Comanches.
So, and we read her book, which is a kind of biography about her. And as you read through the plants that she would use, she was taught by a mentor how to do that, how to heal people with plants and all kinds of things. And some of those plants she doesn't even know the names of.
Right.
And she'll identify them with terms like yellow flowers, looks like feathers. That's the way she would identify
They did
whatever
that in
it
the
was.
Bible, too, though, didn't they? Didn't Ezekiel do that? I mean, when he talked, was it Ezekiel?
Well, a number of the prophets, and
Yes.
even we were talking coming over, natural healing processes have been known certainly since the time of Isaiah, 750 BC was the time of Isaiah, and he mentions healing oil.
Oh, a lot of oil.
Salve, that heals. There are references to it in Ezekiel also.
Revelation.
And Ezekiel mentions, and I think in John and Revelation mentions tree leaves that are used for healing. And it's my conviction it's beyond just ceremonial healing. As these two authors write about it, it has to do with physical healing. And a number of authors in the Old Testament and the New Testament do that. They refer to natural healing substances. And so the natural healing process, use of plants and oils, has been known for thousands and thousands of years.
So Lou Campbell's on the line. If you'd like to see us on Facebook, you can go to our Getting Better with Beal Facebook, and we have people joining us. And welcome, Lou. Just want to say hi to you. I think Jeremiah also talks about it, and definitely the oils are mentioned throughout the Old Testament and New Testament.
Right.
Just different kinds of oils. We don't always know what kind.
Well, for both healing and for ceremonial purposes, And most people are familiar with the term, at least Christian people who read the Bible, the balm of Gilead. That balm is an ointment that was procured from the region of Gilead in the Middle East.
When we come back from listening to our sponsors, we want to go over some exact scriptures that talk about the different kinds of things that might refer to CBD, but we want you to not be afraid that God wants you to use plants to get better, and then also talk about the Garden of Eden versus when we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, things like that. But definitely CBD oil for medicinal purposes to get rid of so many of your symptoms. So when you come back here, just stay right here, and we will give you all the information.
See you in a minute.
Been listening to Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help, and here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Youngevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today, 800-214-0065. Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible Youngevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. They say we're not getting any younger, but many thousands have felt younger after a few short months using Dr. Wallach's all-natural Youngevity nutritional supplements. How many times have you said one of these days I need to call Dr. Wallach and find out what I need? Well, make that day today. Here's how to get that information. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call. The information is free and there is no pressure. So do it now. That's 800-214-0065. If you face health challenges such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility, ADD or ADHD, high blood pressure, or one of hundreds of other diseases, help is available. All you have to do is make the call. You have nothing to lose but the pain and suffering. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Your home is the center of your life, but what happens when you notice that things are getting a bit out of kilter? You call Leo at Service Contractors of Flower Mound. Here's his number, 214-861-8519. 214-861-8519. Is your kitchen out of date? Does your master bath need remodeling? How about a new coat of paint, inside or out? Call Leo at Service Contractors of Flower Mound, 214-861-8519. Is it finally time to stop jiggling the handle and replace your builder-grade plumbing with new, better, perfectly installed fixtures? You can do all this and more at prices that simply cannot be beaten. Contact the professionals at Service Contractors of Flower Mound, 214-861-8519. Why not have the air conditioning upgrade you and yours deserve ready and cooling during the dog days that are right around the corner? Call Leo at Service Contractors of Flower Mound, 214-861-8519. Service Contractors of Flower Mound.
I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better all the time.
And now here's more Getting Better with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
We just had some people asking us on break about CBD for plantar fasciitis and pain and all that kind of stuff. And so we were having a discussion on break, and we will get to all that. We also want to talk to you 2 things. We're going to tell you the difference between hemp and marijuana. And we also want to talk about, Christian stigmatism about using, stigmatism. He's laughing at me. The doctor, the PhD is laughing at me. Stigma, okay.
There you go. Well, it probably causes eye problems too. I don't know.
Yeah, it's about how Christians, they'll take prescriptions. They'll take prescription pain medicines that make them all druggy and even knock them out, which we call passing out, right? But if somebody, does that with something else, right? So how did we get there as Christians? Because that doesn't quite fit if you say you can't. I mean, that's why people steer away from marijuana, because they get high, and yet they'll do those pain patches.
and get high with that.
And get high with that.
Right. And so, yeah, there's like I said, we said coming on that there's a lot of fog about this.
Right.
There are a lot of unanswered questions. And and I love to do research about things like this because it affects what we do. It affects how we think, and it helps us understand more who God is actually in His work in the world and in our lives. And so we love doing this.
I do think that people, we've been kind of taught that opioids were fine, right? Just kind of through doctors and TV and all of that. But they've always known how. I mean, Dr. Wallach, when he was shooting, he was drugging the white dinosaur to tag them, they knew opioids were real bad.
Right.
What did you?
Well,
that looked painful.
You meant rhinoceros, right?
Oh, what did I say? Dinosaurs? The white rhinoceros tagged them. He didn't tag dinosaurs. Okay.
Let me just say, if they had been there, he would have tagged them. Let me just say that.
He is a little guy, but he is a tough little guy.
He is for sure.
It's so funny when you see him out in Africa, like chasing these rhinoceros, and nobody else would, like, he would just go after him, right?
We could do a whole show on that.
He always says he knew back then opioids were, that was in the 70s, right? That the opioids were really bad. And so anyway, just to say that was hilarious.
Yeah, and a lot of most people would love to get off opioids if they could. The pain relievers that are so strong and synthetic, and now we know personally, our friends with people who have been able to do that because of the blessing of a good high quality CBD, which is something else that we want to talk about.
Well, and I don't know that they did that willingly. Doctors are just starting to take them off all the opioids that they've had them on, and they get in severe pain. And so they've found that the CBD oil replaces that better.
Let me throw in some little background here. Would that be okay?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, sure. And an important name is Raphael McCollum. Raphael McCollum was a Holocaust survivor, and he is, or was at the time, professor of medicinal science, medicinal chemistry, actually, at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. He began to do research about CBD and hemp and marijuana back in the 60s, okay, for medicinal purposes. He wanted to know what it was about and how it worked and all that. And so he actually identified the first two cannabinoids, THC and CBD, and he discovered the endocannabinoid system in the body, in the human body, but actually in the bodies of all vertebrates. The endocannabinoid system, I never heard of it before until about, several months ago, I guess.
Yeah, we were.
And he identified this whole system of the human body that most people had no clue about. And so it's a system very much like the central nervous system or the cardiovascular system or the immune system or any of those things.
And when you look at it, I have a black belt in karate, and we were taught about the inner ki or the inner chi that goes through the whole body. And it looks very similar to that. And he discovered that in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and yet it took a while for all the research and information to come together in such a way that it could be, I guess, shared with the public in a meaningful way. And you can look at it, the endocannabinoid system, you can look at it as a pathway, really, throughout the human body. And this pathway has different receptors in the brain and in some other areas in particular that connect other receptors in different organ systems in the body. So it connects the brain with some other organs and systems. That's why, the brain kind of controls what's going on in that sense. And just as a side, we've both been athletic. We've run. You're a runner and athlete. We've all, heard of or maybe experienced runner's high, which before we were told was from the effect of endorphins, which are the feel-good chemicals. Now we realize it wasn't endorphins. From a chemical perspective, it was CBD.
The endocannabinoid system. It's amazing. You guys, we're going to teach you more about this, and that is why that system right there is why it does so many incredible things. When you put the cannabinoid in it that your body actually makes, you're putting more in there.
Yeah.
Stay right here.
Does your business spend...
Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help. And here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Longevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today, 800-214-0065. Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
How's your golf game? Meet Pat Wheeler, host of Texas Links on the Air.
The thing I love about golf, it's the discussions are never ending. You can talk about anything and it's interesting. The clothes, the courses, the instruction, the equipment, and the people who play, of course. The quote of the year so far, Dr. Lemack said, I'll be 110 days. I think I'll get a Hershey bar and go hit some balls. That's what we talk about on Texas Links on the Air. Don't miss it.
Texas Links on the Air, Saturday mornings at 8 on 1160 AM, KBDT. For your great life today.
I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better, all the time.
If you'd like to get better, call Ann right now. 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now more with Ann Beal on 1160 AM, KBDT.
We just want to thank you guys for joining us on our Facebook Live, Getting Better with Ann Beal. And we've got your questions, and I want to let you know, remind you that Dr. Wallach, Dr. Joe Wallach, the naturopathic doctor that helps us, and that we believe in immensely, that was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine. He is on tomorrow on Saturday. Tomorrow on Sunday here on 1160 a.m. at 7 a.m. And then 5 p.m., and he's on tonight as well. And so his show is Let's Play Doctor. So if you catch that, I just want you to know that that's who we talk about a lot. You'll hear us talk about him. He does actually have a hemp CBD oil. He's got 3 that he uses, and they're called Hemp FX. And there's Relax, which is for sleep, and there's Soothe, which is a lotion for pain. The Relax is a tincture. And then he has, which other one? He has Uplift, which are gel caps for focus and giving you energy in the day. And so he has those. And then we'll talk about Ultracell, which was Dr. John King. That's what he uses. That's what helped him get rid of all his PTSD symptoms. So we do have one to give away today. If you want to call in, you can either get a balm or a tincture or the Relax. And so you can't see them, but if you're watching, we have these today. And so just give us a call. And again, the number 214-810-8255. I give away stuff because you have to be brave nowadays to call in. People text, people chat, people stream, but they don't call as much. And so when they do call, they don't call on the radio. Our production person comes in and opens the door and asks us questions. So you deserve it if you call in. So we want to start right here, Dr. Wallach, with you. You were explaining the endocannabinoid system, Dr. Slaughter.
Yes.
And
well, as best I can. I'm working on it, but I'm getting a better picture of this.
It is amazing.
Yeah, in fact, it is absolutely incredible how this works. And so you mentioned earlier that this endocannabinoid system, which we talked about as a pathway throughout the body to spread the good effects that CBD, high-quality CBD, provides for the body. And I think that's important to realize that cannabis cannabinoids, at least, are a naturally occurring substance in our own bodies. We produce it inside our bodies. It's just that now's the time when that's coming to light. It didn't come to light really until
they knew it in the
thing.
60s, and they used this CBD hemp or the hemp for years and years and years and years, decades, until they outlawed it.
Yeah. And eventually, it wasn't legal because they didn't know the difference between hemp and marijuana,
you could say hundreds.
And so
of years,
anyway,
actually.
now that more of the truth is coming to light about it, more people, everyone has access to it, and so that's why we wanted to talk about it. And we want to encourage those who are listening today to know the difference between marijuana and hemp. They are not the same thing. They're two different plants. They are totally chemically different plants, although both contain CBD and can contain a little bit of THC or a lot of THC.
Now, CBD is high in CBD. The hemp is high in CBD and low in THC, right?
Right.
And then
marijuana is the other way around. Marijuana is high in THC, which is psychoactive. That's what gets people high, and that's why it's banned by those who certify even natural and synthetic products.
Which is mainly why it's not legal in every state. In Texas in April, I think it was, April. You guys all have to excuse me. I didn't sleep at all last night. I've been burning the candle at too many ends, and I did not get sleep. So I hope I'm amusing you. I'm glad I have Dr. Slaughter here, the PhD, to really keep me on track today. But truly, that is why. In Texas in April, they actually passed a law allowing the hemp CBD, and they're allowed to have 0.03, is that right, of THC in it?
0.3% constitutes a legal dose of THC.
Right.
Anything greater than that is an illegal dose of THC.
In Texas.
In Texas, right. Mm-hmm. And so it's very important to know what you're getting. And we wanted to give you also, we did before the end of the show, there are 6 criteria, things that constitute a high-quality CBD product. You need to know this. If you're listening and plan to even try it, use it, whatever, you need to know what to buy, because some of it is just cheap junk. In fact, some of the stuff you buy out there that's supposed to be CBD has no CBD in it.
Right.
It's totally fraudulent. And so we don't want you making that mistake. And that's why our friend says, you don't buy CBD or sushi at a gas station.
Yeah, you got to be
sure what you're getting, okay? Now, so the other thing, that was mainly what I wanted to share, too, was that...
Well, tell us what it is. You got us already. Tell us
you mean
the
criteria?
The criteria.
All right, here's what to look for. And, if I were you and I were listening, I'd write this down. 1, the product must be hemp board certified. Did you realize there is a U.S. hemp board?
Hemp Authority
now?
Board, yeah, now.
In fact, we know a person who's on
the board.
And so they certify which hemp products are okay and which aren't, which would be legal, which aren't. It must be hemp-based certified. It should say that on the label. Okay, second thing, it should be CO2 extracted. See, what happens is there is THC in CBD and hemp, and so what you're trying to do in hemp, and so you're trying to take the THC out as much as possible, leaving only the CBD. And there are 2 different extraction processes. One's CO2, the other's ethanol. Ethanol is cheaper, and so CO2, make sure your product is CO2 extracted, okay? The third thing is that it should be totally organic and certified by those who do that, certify organic products in the supermarket even.
Well, and the reason for that is I know that the hemp plant soaks up everything in the soil. And so Dr. Wallach and even Rocky Mountain High, they're putting Dr. Wallach's minerals into the soil,
right,
so that those blooming minerals, those incredible 60 minerals, get soaked up into the hemp plant.
Right.
Now, I've had people that were trying to grow hemp, and they quit because it was killing all their other plants. It was like their tomatoes were dying. And even Ron Neitzel, the garden specialist, you makes your yard perfectly green. His book, can't think of his book right now, but Ron Neitzel, he actually said he quit because it was killing his tomatoes, because it just soaks up everything.
Soaks up all the nutrients from the soil, and they can't get to it.
And so if there's chemicals on that, anything like that they're using in the soil, then it's going to soak it up. That's why it's so important that it be organic, whether it be hemp or cannabis. I mean, that plant, the cannabis plant, does soak everything up in the soil. It's incredible that way.
Pesticides, whatever, right?
Pesticides, yes.
And so it's so important that your product is organic. It should say that on the label. So the fourth thing is it really should be water soluble. Now,
That's
most
so
people
important.
use the term CBD oil, okay, because most of the products that have come out have been in an oil form. The problem is that if you get a CBD oil, and most of them are oils, and if you get that, you're only going to get about 4% of that stuff absorbed into your body, and realize
Because
it's
oil and water don't mix.
oil and water don't mix. And so here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much you drink or how much you take. What matters is how much you absorb. And if you only absorb about 4% of whatever it is you take, you're not going to get much, and it's not going to work for you. You're going to have 10 bottles of the stuff.
Or 20.
Or
Because I
20
know
or
Dr.
whatever.
John King was saying he had like 20 bottles in a day or something like that. Because with those, people just take, a lot to feel better. But with the ones that we are giving away today, the ones that we use for our clinic, they are 94 to 96% absorbable. Because they're water soluble, so they dissolve in water. It's really crazy when you watch it.
Right, and this is all according to serious chemical statistical analysis.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just some guy who wrote a book talking about it, really, or you and I even, and talking about it. These are scientists, chemists in the lab who have formulated all of this and done all of this, and this is the way it is. And so, water soluble.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you're thinking right now you want to know what these are, you can go to Zalise.com/gettingbetter. That's the Ultracell, or you can go to docshop.youngevity.com and get the Hemp FX products. And that's where you get them. So go ahead.
Yeah, and maybe we could give that out again towards the end. The fifth criterion is that it really does need to be not 0.3% THC. It needs to be 0.0000 ad infinitum. No THC.
No THC.
No THC, because if it has any THC in it, it will not do what it will not go through the healing process that your body needs to go through.
Yes. So what will happen is the THC will get into those receptors, those endocannabinoid receptors. It'll go in, but it'll block the main cannabinoids, the CBD that needs to be in there, so it won't work as well.
Right. And, most products on the market today will say we are 0.3% certified, THC. Well, let me just say, that's way too high. We do not want any in there, and our products don't have any.
Well, and Dr. John King, again, if you want to read, you can go to his website, Dr. John A. King, or at John A. King, anywhere in social media. He talks about that when he used any of the CBD that had THC in it, that he got more paranoid, he got more anxiety, his insomnia got worse over time, and so he couldn't use it at all like that. So he had to find a 0.00, and that's the one that worked for him, and that's what's so important. I know we all think, oh, it's so cool, you could go get THC, but you don't want it. That's what we're saying, is you don't want it.
Right.
And as Christians, we shouldn't just escape and avoid, and I think it's real important that we don't do that.
Right. I agree.
On cannabis, on marijuana or painkillers or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
The last thing, and I'll go over these real quickly in a minute too, but the last thing is to choose a full spectrum hemp. Okay, full spectrum hemp. And all that means is that it actually supplements the body's own work with the CBD cannabinoids in the system, in that endocannabinoid system. It supplements, it heightens the effect of our own production of those things. And it has a huge range of other chemicals as a part of that, terpenes and things like that that are very important to our health.
Now, terpenes, it's cool about terpenes because terpenes are what we use when we're using essential oils. It's the terpenes, that actually heal. And what's incredible is that CBD, the hemp CBD, has actual terpenes in it.
Right.
So it does what the essential oils do. It's pretty amazing that way.
But only the full spectrum hemp has all of those other things in it. Yeah,
yes.
And there are a number of flavonoids is one, and a number of other things like that are very important for the healing process to take place. So if it has any THC in it, it's not going to do the best job for you.
And if you have the minerals in the soil, like Dr. Wallach's Bloomin' minerals that are at docshop.youngevity.com, if you want your plants to be incredible and your fruits and vegetables to be huge and all that, it soaks up those minerals as well so that you get them in your CBD oil.
Right.
And so it's amazing what you can accomplish with this one bottle of oil.
Absolutely. And
well, I guess we should call it water-soluble oil.
yeah, in fact, John
calls it
John
liquid.
King calls it CBD liquid. He doesn't use the term oil anymore because it's not oil. And the reason you want water soluble, of course, again, is because it absorbs into the body, whereas oil doesn't absorb well at all. So let me go quickly, okay? These are the criteria. This is what you look for. Hemp board certified, CO2 extracted, totally organic, water soluble, 0.00 THC, and full spectrum hemp.
Full spectrum hemp. And with that, you have to understand that it doesn't get you high. It's not marijuana. God made it. And it's time for us as Christians to rethink and realign, because we take lots of things out there that, number one, aren't good for us, that wouldn't, we put bad things in our body all the time. And this is something that won't harm us. It's plants that God gave us for healing for our bodies.
Right. And let me say in light of that, okay, that CBD, of course, is found nowhere in the Bible. The Bible didn't address the issue of CBD, so you can't really tell one way or the other about that. What the Bible tends to do, some places are specific, for example, prohibition against getting drunk with wine and things like that. On the other hand, there are other times when wine is encouraged. Paul tells his disciple Timothy, take some wine for your stomach problems, okay?
But they had it at weddings. You see wine all through the Bible.
They did.
And that's what's so weird as Christians, that we took it and said, don't drink any alcohol.
Well, don't get me started on that.
Well, I need you to get a little started on it, if you don't mind.
I was just kidding. Just kidding. No, I was just saying, I love what that guy said. Jesus turned the water to wine, not Welch's.
Not Welch's. Yeah, it was good wine. Yes, and as Christians, we take things and can mess them up, right? But he did say don't get drunk with wine, definitely.
Yeah, and so there are principles in the Scriptures that we need to abide by and apply to different times in our lives and apply to different products that we might use and that kind of thing. So knowing the Scriptures is important. Having a good handle on what God says and God's Word is crucial.
God's Word is crucial, and I think what we just have to rethink is how we apply it to our lives instead of letting these societal taboos get in the way of what's good for us. Thank you, guys. We just love having you, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Getting Better. And we're going to have Alex Kendrick from Overcomer Movie share about his...
Say, we're not getting any younger, but many thousands have felt younger after a few short months using Dr. Wallach's all-natural longevity nutritional supplements. How many times have you said one of these days I need to call Dr. Wallach and find out what I need? Well, make that day today. Here's how to get that information. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call. The information is free and there is no pressure. So do it now. That's 800-214-0065. If you face health challenges such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility, ADD or ADHD, high blood pressure, or one of hundreds of other diseases, help is available. All you have to do is make the call. You have nothing to lose but the pain and suffering. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. You've been listening to Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help. And here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Longevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today, 800-214-0065. Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-985-1813 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-985-1813 now. Again, that's 800-985-1813. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better, all the time.
You're getting better all the time. Now, back to Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
We are going to wrap up this show by telling you what CBD treats. What are the symptoms that it treats, Dr. Slaughter? We have 5 minutes for you to say all that.
We can do it. We can do it in that time. I wanted to start, though, with an anecdote. Just our daughter was over. She and her family were over at the house to just swim and cook out and stuff like that on the 4th of July. And she has been having some really serious pain in her knees, but also in her arm because of just a vocational issue that she has in her work. But
and
it was
surgery. She had knee surgery on both knees.
She had knee surgery on both knees. And so we gave her some trial samples of some of the CBD products that we carry now and that we distribute. And she took them home and she misunderstood about how to use. There's a kind of a topical balm or cream that we gave her to try on those painful areas of her body. And she didn't understand exactly how to use them or what they were for. And so she and I were texting one morning, and
because she thought it was just for migraines, because it does get rid of migraines.
Just for headaches, because people use it for that. It's very effective. I said, no, we wanted you to use that on your knees and your arm. Well, that evening, she was in the office for a meeting with us at the end of the day, and she was just bouncing all over the place. She said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. She said, I didn't believe anything would work. Nothing has helped me. Nothing has worked. And I tried that cream, and within minutes, my pain was gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm, seeing is believing. I mean, we're seeing testimonials like that or hearing those a lot now.
So pain, definitely, migraines, and headaches.
Yeah, and on the temples for migraines. Now, this is a list that I was given from a report that came out actually from a financial group.
Right, that did an analysis of it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you have the list.
Okay. So I just wanted to go down the list of the things that, now this is CBD, not THC. This is what CBD treats. This is what
CBD?
It's good for, okay? ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, okay? Arthritis, cachexia, cancer, chronic pain, epilepsy, glaucoma, hepatitis C, HIV/AIDS, inflammation, migraine, nausea, nervous system degeneration. It's kind of a broad term, but yes. Parkinson's disease, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and spasms. And, they may find out some other things that respond to it later as well. But those are some things that right now they know CBD really, really helps. And it often just makes the symptoms go away.
Yes, makes symptoms go away, because we can't use cure word for people. When it's natural, you can't use cure word. You can only use cure word when it's not natural.
One thing we haven't
manufactured.
Right.
FDA. We can use it on animals, though. And these also work on animals. We forgot to say
That's
that.
what I was going to say.
Because animals have that endocannabinoid system as well. All mammals. So your dogs, a lot of people are using it for their dogs and cats.
Also horses these days.
We actually used it on the
industry.
corgi. Yes, and yes. And so all those things can be treated to help make all those symptoms go away. So we just encourage it. And just remember that it needs to be full spectrum and all the things that Dr. Slaughter listed. If you want to know, we'll put them on the website, Getting Better with Ann Beal, and we'll put them on the Facebook Live, and we'll put them on the KBD website as well. So you'll have them if you want to go to bigdtalk.com, where you can see it as well. And so, again, if you would like to get a free bottle, you need to call us. A good full spectrum, all the criteria that Dr. Slaughter talked about, those run anywhere from $80 to $150.
Mm-hmm.
And
and the reason that there's the good ones, okay, or
right.
you can
and
buy
that's
them for
a
much
month.
less, but they don't work. It's like drinking water, right?
Well,
but if you get a high quality one,
yeah.
all right, then it's going to be a little bit more because of all the science that goes into it, the extraction process, the oil to water soluble and all that. That's where that's what the money is into.
And you want it to absorb. When it absorbs 94% or more versus 4%, there is no comparison of that. But also, I would rather you not have ethanol and use CO2. CO2 is good for us. Ethanol's not.
Right.
And so we just encourage you. Okay, again, want to let you know that Alex Kendricks, 2 weeks from now, he is a producer, director of all those wonderful Christian movies, Prayer Room, Courageous, Facing the Giants, Flywheel, Fireproof. He will be here, and we will be talking with him. And we just ask you to join us. So we just thank you, Dr. Slaughter, for being here. And we just want you to get better and join us next week to keep getting better.
Thanks, everybody. Good to be with you today. And it was fun. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Take care, guys.